Diesel puffed up to Diesel 10. He was trying to find out if any major events were happening on the island. "Anything yet?" asked Diesel 10. "No, nothing crazy," replied Diesel. "Come on," Diesel 10 responded. "There's always something happening on this island. At this point, you're just showing me that you're a bad eavesdropper." "I'm not," snapped Diesel. "There's really nothing going on. Do you realize how much work we're gonna have to do if we don't get revenge on these engines and Sir Topham Hatt soon?" said Diesel 10. "It's the steamies' job to do the majority of the work. Besides, Sir Topham Hatt didn't tell us beforehand how much work had to be done that night. He can't just hit us with all this work right out of the gate. We have to stop it by doing something us diesels are good at. Recklessness, which is why we have to find out if there's any big events happening soon. That way, we can ruin it." Just then, Jack the front loader rolled by, trying to be as silent as possible. However, Diesel 10 still caught and interrogated him. "Hey," he snapped, "where are you off to?" Hi, Diesel 10, said Jack timidly. Well, I'm off to build a new drawbridge with my team." "A drawbridge, eh?" wondered Diesel 10. Suddenly, Diesel 10 got an idea. "Okay, Jack, thanks. Go to your work now." Okay, said Jack suspiciously, and he rolled away. "Do you know what this means, Diesel?" said Diesel 10 excitedly. Well, no, I don't." "Man, you really can't get the picture. Here, just follow me, and I'll show you what we're gonna do." Diesel and Diesel 10 were going to interrogate the first steamy they saw and see if they knew any more information about the new drawbridge. They saw James puffing around in the yard and decided to ask him a couple of questions. "I still don't understand," said Diesel. "What's your plan?" "Oh, for Pete's sake," said Diesel 10. "We're going to destroy the drawbridge when we find out more about it. Look, there's James. Let's ask him a few questions." Diesel 10 raced up the rails, biffed straight into James, and biffed him into some buffers in the corner. "Ow!" exclaimed James. "What was that for?" "Pardon me," grumbled Diesel 10, "but I just want to find out some information about that new drawbridge being built here on the island. You don't happen to know any useful information about it at the moment, do you?" "That old thing?" thought James. "Why does that matter to you? It's not like you diesels are ever going to use it." "I don't care, James," replied Diesel 10. "I want answers from a silly steamy." "No, you're acting really untrustworthy like you always do." "Fine. Diesel, ram him even harder." Diesel rolled up to the back of Diesel 10 and rammed James even harder. "Oof! Hey, what was that for this time?" snapped James. "I'm gonna ask you this one more time before I shunt you off the tracks, James. What do you know about that new drawbridge?" "Fine, I'll talk. It's on the other side of the island. You won't miss it. Jack and his team are currently working on it." "Anything else?" "Okay, you dirty diesel. If you want to know so much about this thing that you're never going to use, then how about you puff to the other side of the island and find out more information yourself?" "Fine, I think I will." And Diesel 10 both rolled away, and James quickly got out of the siding. "Man," thought James, "what the heck is his problem?" The two diesels quickly puffed away from James and hid in a siding. "All right," said Diesel 10. "I have the perfect plan. Do you understand my plan for once?" "Yes, I think I do. We're going to puff to the other end of the island and destroy the drawbridge?" "Precisely," said Diesel 10. "Pinchy's hungry." The two diesels sneakily puffed to the other side of the island, where they saw Jack and his team working. Suddenly, a bell rang nearby. "All right, team. Break time," he said, and they all rolled away and were out of sight. "Perfect," said Diesel 10. "The coast is clear. Let's cause some mischief." They puffed to the top of the drawbridge to make sure that no engine was coming. "All right, Diesel," said Diesel 10. "Go to the bottom, and I'll take care of the rest." Whatever you say, Diesel 10. And he rolled backwards. Diesel 10 then puffed forwards and waited for the drawbridge to come up. "All right, any second now," said Diesel 10. Suddenly, the drawbridge rose. "Perfect," said Diesel 10. He quickly puffed under it, and it closed. "Open and close all you want now, buddy, 'cause you're not going to be able to do that for much longer." All right, let's destroy this thing. Pinchy started destroying the stone bridge. Soon the top of the bridge collapsed and landed right on the track in front of him. Excellent, said Diesel 10. All right, let's shove this out of the way, and let's do what I came here for. The destruction of the drawbridge. Diesel 10 rolled forward and started snapping at the drawbridge with all his might. Soon, the drawbridge was lifted up and the track was broken. Perfect, said Diesel 10. Now, let's wait for our victim. It wasn't too long before Edward started puffing towards the drawbridge, and he didn't suspect a thing. Here comes our first victim, said Diesel 10. Edward raced up the hill of the drawbridge, smacked into the top, and quickly derailed, falling right off the tracks. Oh my goodness, cried Edward. What was that? It wasn't until he saw Diesel 10 when he found out there was some mischief involved. Diesel 10, did you have something to do with this? But Diesel and Diesel 10 didn't respond. They just ran out of sight. They're such jerks, thought Edward. Goodness knows what they're about to do now. Well, that turned out even better than I thought, said Diesel 10. I know, said Diesel. Normally our plans don't work. Okay, smarty pants, how about we put it to the test? I think James is coming right now, and I've got another plan. Let's see if this one works. As James was approaching the drawbridge, he ran into a derailed Edward. Oh my goodness, he cried. What happened to you? It was Diesel and Diesel 10, Edward sighed. They broke the drawbridge. Diesel and Diesel 10? Yelled James. How many bad things could two engines do in one day? They already shunted me into some buffers this morning. Oh, we should get some revenge. Not if we can get revenge any faster than you, came a voice. Huh? Questioned James. Who said that? There was no response because from right behind James was Diesel 10 and a massive stockpile of ripe trucks. The Diesel shunted the trucks right into the back of James, which sent him flying down the line. Laughed Diesel 10. See if you can handle that train, James. Oh my goodness, thought Edward. He's lost his mind. Oh no! I can't stop! Somebody help! He cried as he flew over the broken drawbridge. But James couldn't stop. He just charged down the line, around bends, and up hills. He was freaking out until he rolled up a hill beside a tunnel and plummeted face first right off the rails into a ditch. The cars piled up behind him in a disastrous accident. Ouch, he groaned. What was the point of that? Those stupid bullies need to get a life and actually work for once. Ooh, just wait till Sir Topham Hatt finds out about this. Calm down, James, said Boko as he rolled out of the tunnel. No need to panic. What happened, though? It was those dumb diesels who caused this mess. I've tried to warn them, but they've come to the conclusion that causing trouble is a clever way to cut corners and get out of doing work. My goodness, that's horrible. Whoa, where did you see them last? By the drawbridge. But if you're gonna go see for yourself, I would be as cautious as possible. Let's just say the drawbridge can't really be used at the moment. Okay, James, I'll go check it out. Then after that, I'll go get Rocky and help you back on the rails. Okay, said James. Sounds like a plan. And Boko puffed away. Back at the drawbridge, the diesels were up to no good. That was some serious revenge, said Diesel. It might have been a bit too much, though. What do you mean? Snapped Diesel 10. Well, you might want to tone down the revenge just a little bit. Don't you think that you're going a bit, maybe, well, let's say, over the top? Since when were you so sympathetic for the steamies? I'm trying to prevent us from countless days of endless work, and you're trying to stop me? I'm doing us a favor. No. I'm not saying that we shouldn't attempt a cheat code, but maybe you've gotten to the point where any more revenge isn't necessary. Well, anyways, what else have you got in store? More destruction, of course, Diesel 10 replied. You'll see, Diesel, you'll see. As Boko puffed toward the scene, Dennis crashed straight into the back of him from out of nowhere, and they flew over the bridge and immediately crashed. Boko was dangling over the edge of the drawbridge, and Dennis flew off the edge of the stone bridge. And what do you know, said Diesel 10, another one of my plans worked. Diesel 10 was sitting underneath of the drawbridge, propping it up so that an engine would derail. Soon enough, Diesel 10 squeezed his way out from under the bridge and rolled away. "Oh my!" cried Boko. "James was right. It is bad. Real bad," said Dennis. "And I didn't even know where I was going." "Oh, it's awful," said Edward. "We have to get revenge on the Diesels, but we can't because we're off the tracks." The three engines just sat there, depressed, waiting for help. Diesel 10 went to see James. "Oh my," said Diesel 10 sarcastically. "Since when did you crash? Oh, that's simply awful." "Oh, shut up," cried James. "Don't be smart with me." "Too late for that," said Diesel 10. He laughed and puffed away. The two Diesels met up again outside the tunnel. "All right, Diesel, that's just the beginning of my plan. We're not stopping until every single steamy is off the line." Thomas was nearby, and he saw the scene. "My word," Thomas cried. "What's all this?" "Oh, it was those Diesels," replied Edward. "Yeah," Boko added. "They broke the drawbridge." "And the stone bridge," said Dennis. "What? Why?" asked Thomas. "Well, James said it had something to do with them getting out of doing work," said Boko. "Oh, I think I know what he's talking about," said Thomas. "What?" asked Edward. "What could be so horrible that this is what the Diesels have to do to prevent it from happening?" "Well," said Thomas, thinking into the past, "a couple nights ago, Percy, Arthur, and I stayed up the whole night cleaning up the island and doing work. And Sir Topham Hatt could have gotten the Diesels to help us, but he wasn't aware that they had no work to do. So, to make up for it, he wants them to do some of our work for the next couple of days so that we could rest. However, they clearly don't want to fulfill their duties, so they're just causing trouble instead." "What?" exclaimed Boko. "All of this just to get out of doing work? That's ridiculous." "Tell me about it," added Dennis. This is pure hysteria." "Don't worry, guys," said Thomas. "I'll alert the trio, we'll get you guys back on the line, and then we'll get our revenge on those dirty Diesels." On the way to fetch Rocky, he ran into James. "Oh my!" cried Thomas. Before you say anything, James, don't worry. I'm on my way to grab Rocky right now." And he huffed away. Thomas pumped his pistons until he found Percy sitting in the yard. "Percy," said Thomas, "come with me. We have to fetch Arthur and get engines back on the rails." "What, engines back on the rails? What happened?" asked Percy. "No time to explain," said Thomas. "We just have to hurry." "Okay," said Percy, and the two engines puffed away. Then they found Arthur sitting in the siding. "Arthur," said Thomas, "quick, come with us." "Why?" asked Arthur. "No time to explain," said Thomas. "We just have to hurry." "Well, okay," said Arthur, and the three engines huffed away. The three engines puffed to go get Rocky and get the engines back on the line as soon as possible. When they arrived with Rocky, the engines were relieved, and Rocky set to work. Sooner than later, the engines were back on the tracks. "Oh, thank you guys so much," they said in relief. "You're welcome, guys," replied the engines. "All right," said Thomas. "Let's go get James." James was stunned to see Thomas, Percy, Arthur, and Rocky worked as quick as possible to get James back on the rails. "Perfect," said Thomas. "All right, guys, let's go get our revenge on those Diesels before they caused any more trouble." "Okay," asked Percy. "I'm still confused. What's your plan?" "The plan," said Thomas, "is that when one of the Diesels puffs under the bridge, I'm going to shout now. When I say now, you're going to shunt Fred towards him from over there. This will send him backwards and under the bridge. Then the bridge is going to close on top of him, trapping him underneath. Then, Arthur, when the other Diesel puffs on top of the bridge, you're going to use that chain to pull the drawbridge up when I say now. This should cause the other Diesel to derail." "But what if this plan doesn't work?" asked Arthur. Then I don't know," said Thomas. "We'll find out a way to get revenge another day. But let's just stick to the plan and hope it works." Just then, trying to be as sneaky as possible, Diesel rolled past the engines. "Oh, hello, everyone," he said slyly. Arthur pretended like he didn't know what was going on. Oh, hey there, Diesel," said Arthur. "Nothing to see here." "Okay," Diesel said suspiciously. "Then I guess I'll go back to work." "Now, Percy!" shouted Thomas. As Diesel rolled under the drawbridge, Percy shunt Fred forward as hard as he could. This sent Diesel flying down the line and underneath the drawbridge. "Now, Arthur!" shouted Thomas. Arthur quickly pulled the chain, trapping Diesel underneath the bridge. "Ow! Oh, no!" Diesel cried. "What was that?" "That was payback for what you did to everyone else," said Arthur. "Oh, dear," mumbled Diesel. Diesel 10's in for a surprise then. And he was right. Diesel 10 quickly rounded the bend and instantly derailed as he rolled up the drawbridge. Do it again, Arthur, shouted Thomas. Arthur pulled back again. Whoa, he cried. What just happened? It was payback for what you did to everyone else, said Thomas. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt rolled up in his car. Diesel 10, what do you have to say for yourselves? I knew I should not have gone with your plan, said Diesel. Oh, be quiet, replied Diesel 10. I don't want to hear it, snapped Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas, Percy, Arthur, after I talk to them, go fetch Rocky, if you please, and then after that, you can rest for the rest of the day. You've been very helpful. Yes, sir, they said. Thank you, sir. And as for you two, said Sir Topham Hatt, I have had enough of your shenanigans. You are doing your work whether you like it or not. Plus, you've just created another mess for yourselves to clean up on top of everything else. One more trick, and there will be severe consequences. Do you understand? Yes, sir, they said. Good, said Sir Topham Hatt. I hope that one day you will both learn your lesson. If a miracle happens.